chosen one. Stop what you're doing, not in a moment, right now. If there is noise around you, find a quiet corner. If there are people nearby who don't know your story, step away from them for a little while. Because what I need to say to you today is not meant to be half heard. It is not background noise. It is a specific message delivered through a specific video at a specific moment in your life, and I need you to be fully present for it. Take a real breath, not the shallow kind you've been taking all day, a real one, the kind that reaches all the way down. Now notice something for me. Notice what is happening in your chest right now. There is a feeling there, isn't there? Something you haven't been able to name. Not quite pain, not exactly fear. Something that lives between restlessness and knowing. A weight that has been sitting in that place for longer than you want to admit. I want to talk about that feeling today, because I believe I know exactly what it is. But before we go any further, let me tell you what you are going to walk away with by the time this video ends, because it matters. By the time you finish watching, you will understand exactly what God's warning has been, the specific signals you have been receiving and likely misreading your entire life. You will have a clear and simple method to finally hear what has been trying to reach you. And you will understand something about your own mind, something neurological, something real, that explains why this has been so hard to receive. Stay with me. All of it is coming. Now, back to that feeling in your chest. Most people interpret that feeling as anxiety, as stress, as the ordinary weight of a complicated life. And I need to say this to you, gently but directly, that is not what it is. Anxiety says something bad is about to happen to you. Urgency says something important is about to pass you by. Those are not the same thing. They do not feel the same once you understand the difference. And the reason I need you to hold that difference today is because God has been sending you urgency, and you have been treating it like anxiety. You've been trying to manage it, reduce it, breathe through it, sleep it off, and it keeps coming back. It keeps coming back because it is not trying to hurt you, it is trying to reach you. There is a pattern in the way heaven speaks to people like you, and I want to start there. Most people know the story of a man who ran, a man who received one of the clearest divine assignments in all of sacred history. The mission was not hidden. It was not whispered. It was spoken plainly. Go to this specific place, to these specific people, with this specific message. And he ran in the opposite direction, not because he didn't believe, not because he was broken, but because the assignment was inconvenient. Because saying yes would cost him something: comfort, certainty, a version of himself he had grown attached to. So he ran, and the sea came, and then the whale came. Most people preach the whale, but I want to talk about what the whale actually was. The whale was not punishment. Read it again, slowly. The whale was not punishment. It was retrieval. It was the universe refusing to let a chosen person simply disappear from their assignment. It was God saying, I have not changed my mind about you, even though you changed your mind about me. The plan does not die just because the person carrying it got scared. That is not a story about consequence. That is a story about a love so determined, so persistent, so unwilling to let go, that it will reach across every bad decision, every wrong turn, every act of avoidance, to bring you back to the thing you were made for. And here is why I tell you this: because you are not so different from that man. You have received a direction, maybe not in dramatic terms, maybe not in a single unmistakable moment, but in every recurring thought, in every quiet that keeps pointing you the same way, in every closed door that keeps redirecting you towards somewhere you haven't been willing to go. The assignment has been spoken, and somewhere in you, you already know what it is. There is another figure I want you to sit with for a moment. A woman who was told, in 4 words, that she had arrived at her appointed purpose for such a time as this. She had been positioned, prepared, placed exactly where she was, not by accident, not by her own cleverness, for a specific window in time that no one else in her exact position could fill. That phrase is not decorative language. It is a statement about how heaven operates. It says, there are moments that are not general. There are moments that are specific, time-bound, and designed for one person in one season, not next season. This one. The pattern has not changed. The way heaven speaks to people who carry large assignments, the way callings arrive, the way windows open and have edges, that has not changed. And right now, in this specific season of your life, you are standing inside one of those windows. The question is whether you recognize it. Let me name 5 things you may have been experiencing, and as I name each one, I want you to notice whether something in your body responds. The first is a restlessness that sleep does not fix. You go to bed tired and wake up tired, not because you are sick, because something in you is carrying something much larger than the events of your day, and your nervous system has not been given a way to release it. You have been holding something that was never meant to be held this long. The second is a thought that keeps returning, the same direction, the same version of a life you haven't fully committed to yet. You try to push it away and it comes back. You rationalize it and it returns the next morning. That is not obsession, that is a signal, and signals repeat until they are received. The third is a series of doors that closed in the same direction, not random failure, not bad luck. A pattern of redirection that, when you step back and look at it honestly, has been pointing you somewhere specific for a long time. The fourth is a heightened sensitivity to time, a feeling that things are moving faster than they should. A quiet, persistent sense of, I should have moved on this already, not from guilt, but from something older and wiser than guilt, from knowing. The fifth is dreams that are different, more vivid, more specific, the kind you remember when you wake up, the kind that feel less like imagination and more like something being shown to you. If even one of those landed somewhere in your chest just now, I need you to understand what that is. In the ancient Greek language, there are 2 different words for time. The first is chronos, the ordinary, measurable kind. The kind that moves whether or not we pay attention. The kind we track with calendars. The second word is kairos. Kairos does not mean a period of time. Kairos means the appointed moment, the specific, irreplaceable window in which a particular thing was designed to happen. The warning you have been receiving, the restlessness, the returning thought, the closing doors, the sense of urgency, the vivid dreams, none of that is chronos. All of it is kairos. Heaven is not saying you are running out of generic time. Heaven is saying, this specific window, this particular season, this kairos moment is right now, and kairos does not repeat. I want to say something honest here, because you deserve the full truth, not just the comfortable half. You have not been ignoring this warning because you are rebellious. You have not been slow to move because you lack faith. I want to say that clearly. Think about how a GPS works. When you take a wrong turn, it doesn't shut off. It doesn't go silent in disapproval. It simply says, recalculating. It holds the destination constant and finds another way. That is what has been happening with you. Every time you paused when you should have moved, every time the assignment felt too large, every time you chose the familiar over the unknown, he recalculated. He held the destination and kept finding another route. But here is the honest part. Even GPS has a moment where the map says, make a U-turn now, not because the destination is gone, but because this particular road, this specific route that was designed for this specific season, is approaching the point where it ends. And the next road, while it still goes somewhere, will not carry everything this one was carrying. Moses waited 40 years in the wilderness before the bush burned, and some people read that as patience. It was, but the bush was also the final form. It was not the first signal. It was the undeniable one, the one that removed every remaining excuse. There is something else I haven't told you yet. I will come back to this in full in part 2, because it connects everything. The reason the warning has been hard to hear, the reason even when you sense it, even when you feel it clearly, it still doesn't fully translate into movement, may not be purely spiritual. It may be neurological. There is something happening in the brain of someone who was designed for a large assignment, something the modern world has systematically suppressed, that makes it genuinely difficult to receive divine signal with clarity. I will explain exactly what that is and what can be done about it when we continue. But right now, I want to give you something practical, something you can do exactly where you are right now, without standing up, without writing anything down, without any special conditions, just your honest attention. I call it the warning signal audit. 5 steps. The first step is to name it. In your mind, right now, name the thing that keeps returning, not with a plan attached to it, not with judgment. Just, this is the thing. Give it a name. The second step is to date it. Think back to when it first appeared. When did you first feel this specific pull? How long has it been with you? The third step is to track it. Has it gotten louder recently? Has the feeling intensified? Signals from heaven tend to escalate as the window narrows, not in anger, but in urgency. The fourth step is to separate it. Ask yourself honestly, is this fear speaking, or is this calling speaking? There is a way to tell. Fear shrinks, it wants you smaller, quieter, more invisible. Calling persists. Calling is still there after fear has said everything it has to say. And the fifth step is to respond to it, not with the full leap, not with the whole plan, with one small acknowledgement. Silently, right where you are, say these words. I hear it. I know what is being asked, and I am not running anymore. That is not a small thing. That acknowledgement is a turning point. The person who just said that is not someone who missed their calling. They are someone in the middle of answering it. In part 2, I am going to show you exactly what God has been protecting through all of this. The 3 specific things at stake that most people never realize are connected to a warning like this one. And I am going to explain the neurological discovery that may change how you understand everything you have been going through. Stay with me. The most important part is still coming. Chosen one, welcome back. If you stayed through part 1, if you did the audit, if you said the words, if you are still here, something has already shifted. I want you to know that before we go any further, the decision to stay, to take this seriously, to not scroll past, that is what the beginning of a response looks like. And heaven noticed. Now I want to tell you what God has actually been protecting through all of this. The 3 things that were at stake all along, the ones most people never realize, are connected to a warning like this one. The first is the assignment, not a vague sense of purpose that you will sort out someday. A specific thing, a specific contribution, a specific role, a specific version of your life that was authored before you arrived here. That assignment has not been handed to someone else. I want to be clear about that. But here is what is true. The form of the assignment that fits this particular season of your life, the version that carries everything it was meant to carry, requires response within this window. A seed that stays on the shelf past its planting season does not stop being a seed. It simply never becomes the tree it was designed to be. The second thing at stake is relationships. The people who are meant to walk beside you in your next chapter, the ones who carry the language of who you are becoming, who will recognize you in a way the people around you right now cannot. Those people cannot find you while you are still living in a version of yourself that belongs to a previous season. The right connections arrive in alignment with the right version of you. And part of what the warning has been asking is for you to become that version so they can find their way in. The third thing at stake is provision. Not as a reward for behavior, not as a transaction, but as the natural consequence of alignment. Doors that open when you are walking in the right direction, that simply do not open when you are standing still. The resources, the access, the opportunities, they flow toward the person who has said yes and meant it. I believe that I hear the Father saying something to you right now, not in ultimatum, not in accusation, in the voice of someone who has been watching you carry something too heavy for too long, mostly alone. He says, I have not changed my mind about you. Not when you ran, not when you went quiet, not when you convinced yourself that the window had already closed. I have not changed my mind. But what I am building for you requires that you trust what I am calling you toward more than you trust what you are holding on to. That is the warning, and that is the love underneath it. Now, I told you in part 1 that there is something neurological beneath all of this, something that goes beyond willpower, beyond faith, beyond discipline. And I want to explain it now, because it is the piece that changes everything. There is a specific brainwave frequency that every human being is born with. Scientists can measure it. They can see it on an EEG. It is called gamma. And in the first years of life, every child operates with gamma at full capacity. And that is not a poetic metaphor. It is observable, measurable, biological reality. Children learn languages in months. They pick up skills that adults struggle with for years. They have an intuition that seems to come from nowhere. They move. They trust themselves. They ask the question and believe the answer is coming. That is gamma. Researchers at Princeton, at MIT, at Stanford have studied what happens to this frequency as we grow older, and what they found is not comforting. They call it the decline effect. Beginning around age 7, the systems of modern life, the education structure, the culture of constant productivity, the noise of a world that never asks you to go still, begin systematically suppressing gamma, not through malice, not intentionally, but the effect is real and measurable. By adulthood, most people are operating at a fraction of the brainwave capacity they were born with. The frequency that once made everything feel clear, connected, and possible, that frequency has been dimmed. Now, here is the part that matters specifically for you. The people who feel this loss most acutely, the ones who carry the strongest memory of what it felt like when life was clear, when intuition arrived naturally, when they just knew things, those are not the average cases. Those are the ones who were born with gamma that was already elevated above the baseline. The people who, as children, learned faster, felt deeper, saw things others walked past. The ones heaven chose to carry something large. And this is why the gap between who you were made to be and who you have become feels so wide. It is not because you failed. It is not because God withdrew. It is because the frequency you were designed to operate at, the frequency through which divine signal reaches you most clearly, has been suppressed by a world that never understood what it was suppressing. You have been trying to hear a transmission on a radio that has been stuck in static, and it is not your fault that the signal has been hard to receive. I believe the Father is saying this. I did not design you to be unable to hear me. I designed you to resonate at the highest frequency available to a human being. What was dimmed can be turned back on. What was taken from you was never meant to stay gone. That is not empty reassurance. That is biological truth meeting spiritual promise. Now, I want to stop and say something honest, because trust matters more to me than anything else. Some of you have tried enough things to have built a wall. You have done the meditation, the healing retreats, the affirmations, the prayer schedules. You have been sincere in every single one. And you are still standing in the same place. And somewhere inside you, a part of you, is waiting for this to be the same. I hear that. I honor it. And I want to tell you honestly why many of those approaches, as genuinely valuable as they are, often don't address the specific problem I've been describing. Traditional meditation is extraordinary, but to naturally synchronize your brainwaves back to gamma through meditation alone takes months, sometimes years. And most people, if they're honest, don't sustain the practice long enough for it to finish what it started. Brain entrainment works by a fundamentally different mechanism. It doesn't ask you to arrive at a state through effort. It guides the brain directly into one, using sound frequencies that the nervous system already knows how to respond to. That is not the same technology. That is not the same result. That is not the same category. I want to tell you about a woman, 38 years old. She had been through yoga, through retreats, through every approach that promised to return her to that sense of being connected and aligned. She had almost stopped believing it was available to her. She said she didn't try what she tried next because she believed in it. She tried it because she had nothing left to lose. 2 weeks later, she described what she experienced in a single word: synchronicities. Things began arriving in a pattern she could not explain. Conversations that answered questions she hadn't spoken out loud. Opportunities arriving in the exact shape of what she needed. A quiet alignment replacing the noise that had lived in her for years. She said it was as though the universe had begun speaking to her in a language she could finally understand. What she had found was the work of Dr. Robert Lake, a neuroscientist with 34 years of research, who had spent his career studying the gamma state and developing a method to guide people back into it. He took the same technology that clinical biofeedback centers charge $300 per session to administer, the same results that home biofeedback equipment costing $7,000 attempts to produce. And he condensed it into a single 7-minute audio track that anyone can use, anywhere, with only a pair of headphones. The original price for this was $49. That is less than one clinical session, less than one therapy appointment, less than one weekend retreat. But because Dr. Lake's goal has always been to reach the people who need this most, not only those who can afford the most, there is a price available for people who encounter this through a video like this one. $39. That price does not exist on Amazon. It is not available anywhere else. It lives only in the link I have placed in the description of this video and in the pinned comment below. When you access it through that link, you receive the Genius song, the 7-minute gamma activation track, along with 4 bonuses at no additional cost. A track called Genius Child, designed to activate focused and confident brain states in children. The original book that inspired the film The Secret, available for $20 on its own on Amazon, included here for free. A guided visualization covering the 4 areas most people want to transform: money, relationships, health, and peace. And a printed infographic covering the 5 most important habits for building the life that is waiting on the other side of this window. And if you use it and feel nothing, no shift, no clarity, no change of any kind, you receive every dollar back, no explanation required, no return process. The guarantee is unconditional and unlimited. I also need to say this clearly, because there are imitation products that use a similar name and carry none of the actual brain entrainment technology. They are ordinary audio files. They are not the same thing. If you search on YouTube, Amazon, or Spotify, what you find will not be what I am describing. The only way to receive the verified original, with the technology embedded, with all 4 bonuses, with the money-back guarantee, is through the link in the description and in the pinned comment of this video. Please do not look for it anywhere else. This is not something I ask you to rush toward. I ask only that you investigate if you feel a pull. Only if something in you recognizes what I have been describing. The link will be there when you are ready. Now, whether or not that tool is for you, I want to give you one more thing before we close. Something that requires nothing but a willingness to be still for 60 seconds. I call it the Open Window Protocol. 3 steps, that is all. Step 1. Declare the window, not in writing, not out loud if you can't. In your mind, right now, say, I recognize the season I am in. I am not confused about it anymore. I see the window. Step 2. Name the one thing, not the 10-year plan, not the full vision, the single, specific, undeniable next step that the warning has been pointing you toward. You already know what it is. Name it. Step 3. Remove one obstacle today. Not this week. Today. Identify one thing, one decision, one release, one quiet choice that is standing between you and that one step. And decide, right now in this moment, to let it go. Someone did exactly this after 2 years of knowing what they were supposed to do and choosing not to do it. 2 years of the same restlessness, the same returning thought, the same closing doors. They did these 3 steps on an ordinary afternoon, alone, with nothing changing around them. On the 3rd day, the first unmistakable movement arrived in the direction they had been avoiding for 2 years, not because the universe was waiting to be convinced, but because a signal had finally been sent, and heaven could finally respond to what had been received. Before we close, I want to do something with you. Right where you are, sitting, lying down, driving, wherever you are, I want you to picture something in your mind. You are standing in front of a door. Nothing dramatic about it, not a grand cathedral gate, not something glowing or ornate. A plain, ordinary door. The kind that has been in front of you, in various forms, for longer than you want to admit. On the other side of that door is not a fantasy. It is something specific, something authored, something detailed, something that existed before you had the language to ask for it. The assignment, the relationships, the provision, all of it waiting in the exact shape of what you were always meant to step into. The door is open. It has been open this entire time, and the one who moves through it is not God, it is you. In your mind right now, reach for it. Feel the weight of what it means to cross. Feel what is on the other side, waiting to receive you. That is not imagination. That is activation. Chosen one, let me close with something I want you to carry with you. You made it here. You stayed. You listened. And that, in ways you will not fully understand until you are further down the road, already meant something. You are not someone who missed the window. You are someone in the middle of stepping through it. You are a seer. You perceive things others walk past, the patterns beneath the surface, the signals hidden in ordinary moments, the movement underneath the stillness. You notice all of it. That is not imagination. That is your design. You are a spiritual warrior. You may bend, you may go quiet, but you do not collapse. You hold the ground. And the fact that you are still here, still listening, still searching, still unwilling to give up on the thing calling you forward, that is not stubbornness. That is assignment. You are a pioneer. The path you are walking has not been fully walked before, not in the exact way you are walking it. That is not a disadvantage. That is authority. You go first so others can follow. And you are a voice. What you are carrying, the understanding, the weight, the wisdom of the season you have been in, it does not exist only for you. It will become language for someone else who has no words yet. You will speak what others feel but cannot say. In the original Hebrew, there is a word, shalom. Most translations render it simply as restore. But shalom does not mean getting back what was taken. Shalom means to be made complete, to be repaid with interest. God is not returning you to where you were. He is returning to you more than what was ever taken. He is not restoring the old version of your life. He is building something that the old version was only pointing toward. And I believe, I genuinely believe, I hear the Father saying one final thing to you today. He says, I did not bring you this far to leave you standing at the threshold. The warning was not a threat. It was a love letter written in urgency, because what is waiting on the other side of your yes is too important to let pass in silence. The window is still open. And I am standing on the other side of that door, not in disappointment, not in impatience, in anticipation, waiting for you to recognize what I have already decided about you. You are allowed to cross. You are allowed to outgrow the season that held you here. You are allowed to step into the version of your life that the warning was always trying to call forward. You are committed, you are commissioned, you are sent. Whatever this season holds for you from this moment forward, may the frequency of what you were created to carry begin to return. May the static clear. May the path become visible, one step at a time. May you recognize every closing door, every returning thought, every restless night, every vivid dream, for exactly what it has always been, the voice of someone who has not once, not for a single moment, stopped believing in you. That is the warning, and underneath it, all the way down, beneath every urgent word, there was only ever love. Go well, and go forward.